I know I've been doing a lot of replays this past while, and like this past week or so, and there is a real reason as to why that is. First of all, I am live streaming now for any of you who might be new or have not somehow seen all the community posts and all the times I've mentioned it in videos, but uh, I just feel less pressed to get live games every single day. Because live games do actually take a fair while to get, and if you've seen my streams, you'll know why. Because there's so much bullshit happening. Either games last like maybe 7 to 8 minutes at most, because one team just rolls the other, or I just get grief by a carrier, or just like end up I do reasonably well, but end up spawning on the wrong side, and literally everything is happening on the other side of the map, and half the video is just me sailing from one half of the map to the other. It is a mess to get live games every single day. So I just feel a lot less pressed, I guess would be the best word, to get live games all of the time, because I know that those of my viewers who enjoy watching these live games not only can watch the live stream, but also because I feel replays are able to really help me be able to explain everything that I'm doing, the ins, outs, whys. I obviously have the ability to pause replays and go over things in depth if I want to, stuff like that. So I know I did a poll a while ago on do people prefer live games or replays, and a lot of people actually voted for live games, which honestly surprised me, but I was obliging by that. But now I'm starting to try and branch out a little bit more, and that's not to say I'm never going to upload live games again, but I just find replays are easier on me and more helpful for you, because I'm much better able to really explain things, because I'm not focusing on the ships that are like, in my mouth at that moment, and that sort of thing. So anyway, let me know what you think of replays versus live games as videos in the comments if you care. If not, I'm just going to stick to kind of what I've been doing this past little while. But anyway, enough of that. I've gone on for that for far too long. First things first, looking at the matchmaking threats to my ship. No carriers, always amazing. Annapolis Petro radars. Ragnar's another radar. And on top of the Ragnar, there is a Yamagiri, Shima, and Elbing. Now, I'm actually going to pause this right here. No, I am not. There we go. So, what's going on right now is we obviously are capping C right now, and I was playing a bit cautiously at the start because of the Ragnar radar, and the threat of that Ragnar has to be respected in the early game, because you do not want to be caught bow into one of those things. So I had to basically just play a little bit safe. I only skirted the edge of the cap right there, and I was getting ready to be able to dip behind that island if I needed to, which we are not going to have to do because the Ragnar did end up being spotted. But originally, what I'm looking at is this Fatsuma right here is already in a kite-away position and is already heading towards his team at A. And when I see that, the first thing that pops into my head is this is a weak side. There's not going to be a whole lot for me here. And I honestly was about to just turn around completely and start hauling ass towards B cap, and that's when their gearing pings this little corner of that little channel of the island there. And I assume that this gearing is running RPF, which is why he pinged that. There's no submarines, there wouldn't be any like pings or anything weird going on there. There were no depth charge planes coming in. So I'm assuming that this gearing has RPF on a destroyer, and we know that if that is the case, that destroyer is not going to be the Ragnar. It could be the Elbing, the Yamagiri, or the Shima. And I was thinking that if it is going to be the, what's it called? The Elbing, I would have probably spotted him by now. Either he would have shot or I would have just outspotted him. So I'm fairly comfortable to just press W here. And of course, that's when the Elbing pops up. And I get hard lit right here. So Yamagiri pops up, and this Yamagiri actually shot, which basically just sealed his fate. I do actually make a bit of an int right here, because I'm about to exit my smoke. So honestly, it's really not that bad, because there's about to be a fucking shit ton of Yamagiri torpedoes heading in here anyway. Yep, as you can see right there, although it is very unfortunate that I end up straying into the Petro range. So I'm pretty much just going to have to tank the next few seconds here, which I was trying to avoid. My goal was to kill the Yamagiri and then be able to instantly go dark, because the Yamagiri's smoke broke the line of sight from the Elbing. But because this Petro pushed up here and managed to push into my gun range, I ended up being detected for longer than I would have liked, which is unfortunate, but oh well, it is what it is. Right there, those are some entirely speculative torps. They're Make-A-Wish torps. If they hit, they hit. If not, whatever. If that Elbing wants to camp around in that channel, maybe smoke up and farm the Colombo, maybe farm the Wisconsin, or even the Salem if it gets spotted and he has a shot somehow. They're just some cheeky little torps I launched out because, fuck it. I'm seeing if I can get a little bit of farm on this Petro, but it is a Petro. He's bow in, playing Island Cockroach at 12 plus kilometers, so predictably that doesn't really go anywhere. So right here, we have a kiting Elbing, which you're going to see a few of his shells going flying by there from behind the island there. Yep, you saw right there. So that Elbing is hauling ass. The Petro, and I believe that's a Jean Bart right there, are just playing Island Cockroach over there, which is fine. So, there's really nothing over here for me. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to walk at B. What are they going to do? Are they going to send the Petro and the Fat Suma to radar me? Sure, I can just kite away, kite up north, and then come back when the radar is down. Same thing with the Annapolis. Is this Annapolis going to push in and try and radar me? I can just kite away and wait for the radar to go down and then try again. And they would have to dedicate a lot of force to, well, not really a lot of force, but they would have to dedicate not only at least a ship or two to address the fact that B is being capped, which they're already not in a position where they really want to do that anyway. Most of their ships is kind of like chilling over here, although the Georgia and I believe the Iowa are in a little bit of a bow-in position towards B, but I can farm them as they push in, so I'm not too stressed. All I really need to do is be wary of the Annapolis and the Petro radars. And unlike most random battles, this game has actually not been very deadly yet. We've only had 2 casualties in just over 6 minutes of the game being played, which is actually pretty rare. So this has the potential to be a really nice close game, which you really don't see much anymore. So we're going to see how this plays out. Well, of course, I already know how it's going to play out, but you don't, so you'll have to wait and see. Right here, I do end up getting radared, and that is, in fact, the Petro. But just like before, this Petro radar is very short, and I can tank it just fine. I still have 2 heals left as well, and a good chunk of health. I do end up getting reset there, which is a little unfortunate, and I basically just turned right into those double shells there, which is also annoying. But, you know, it happens. Zigged when you should have zagged. Yeah, whatever. It did cost me a heal, though, which is not ideal. Right here, I want to just try and get my farm on this Iowa. And this is actually a misplay right here, and this is something I want to talk about real quick. When I smoked up right here, I made a very big mistake in that I shot before my smoke fully covered me. And the observant of you, if you had timed that, you will notice that as soon as the smoke puff gets was deployed and I shot, even though I was in smoke, I still remained detected for a couple of seconds there, and there is a reason for that. This game is hard coded to have ships be detected for a minimum of 2 seconds, and That's what you just saw right there. Even though all the conditions were met for me to go dark, I was in smoke, actively in the smoke. And even if, let's just pretend that no one had line of sight. Let's just pretend this Georgia was over behind the island, Annapolis was out of range, and this Petrel was still over here with the Jean Bar. Let's just pretend nothing else had line of sight except for that Iowa that I had just shot at. If I was behind the smoke and did the same thing, if I got detected there, the same thing would happen. Because even though there was all the conditions for me to be able to go dark, the game is hard-coded that I would remain spotted for 2 seconds. So even though I should have been dark, that is why I was spotted. And you can abuse that if you very carefully time your smoke puffs. You can actually spot people through your smoke, although it does require a very careful timing. Basically, if you smoke up and you poke forward for a millisecond out of your smoke to spot, and then wait for your smoke screen to cover you again another millisecond later, you'll be able to farm whatever you want for a minimum of 2 seconds plus whatever blind fire you get on the target, depending on what it is. You can, this is called Haida tricking by some. I call it blinking. You can hear it called a bunch of different things, but that is a very, very advanced little trick that I'm going to try and get to demonstrate one day, but this is not going to be the replay for that. You managed to land a cheeky little fire on that Iowa. And also, I just want to point out real quick, I did actually buy Cunningham. I think his name is Andrew Cunningham, was his first name. But I did buy Cunningham, finally. He's the last unique commander that I was getting, and I'm just training him up to 21 points at the moment. I think I had enough Elite XP to get him to 15 right now. I think he's at 15, and I'm saving up to get Adrenaline Rush. But anyway, I digress. And that's you probably noticed that with the color tracer and everything. And also, I just want to point out, I just knocked out that Iowa turret with a daring shell. These are 113 millimeter shells, and I just penned an Iowa turret with it somehow. This game is fucking weird, man. Right here, the only ship that's in this cap is the Annapolis, who I believe was actually kiting away because there's a bit of a Columbo in his mouth, and the Petro. Now, I'm honestly not sure why the Annapolis shot there. He was actually dark, and he could have capped, because I can only reset what I can see. I mean, sure, I could have blind shot him, but blind shot is nowhere near as reliable as having a hard lock on. Like I did with that Petro right there. I'm trying to get some cheeky shots from across the island on that Georgia. And also, I also want to point out, first of all, this is, these two teams are even on ships. I mean, we've lost a few heavier ships. They've lost 2 destroyers. We've lost a battleship and a cruiser. But look at the scores. We are at 556 points, which, by the way, this is not a replay bug. The scores are not flipped. We are at 500, well, a little less now. But we are on 500 points to 315. And that's after they just managed to land a kill. And that is because we've just been able to hold on to these caps for so long. And right here, what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking is I want to try and get a couple of kills here. What kills are here on the board that I can secure for myself to try and get this Cunningham proc for the extra heal? And that is the main thing I'm focusing on right now is can I get a kill? And I almost managed to get the kill on this Vermont. If that Vermont didn't get a heal off and survive like that one extra salvo, I would have gotten him, but, you know, oh well. It happens. Now we're just going to play the sit here and reset the Petro for ages game. I'm actually not entirely sure what it is that's spotting the Petro. I honestly think he's shot here. I think that's what kept him spotted, is his own gun bloom. You know, Fat Suma's about to die, which I can't really try and mooch on that because he's about to die to the Kunming anyway. And if he didn't die to the Kunming, he was going to die to the Wisconsin or the Maine or the Hayate, so whatever. Annapolis is kiting away. These torpedoes I launched predicting that this Petro is just going to press W and try and hug up to this island to angle to the Colombo and then reverse behind it to basically try and sit right there and angle against these two battleships and then be behind the island of the Colombo. But he is showing broadside now, and he did repair a fire. I am prioritizing him being broadside, though. And we switch to the armor piercing, although he ends up getting deleted by the main. So that's fine. We're just going to sit here in our smoke, and we're just going to continually reset these guys. The only thing they have left that can contest B at this point are battleships. There is the Elbing, but the Elbing is up in C, and on top of that, he is also very low health, and I outspot him. So I'm not worried about him. I am going to get some cheeky resets on this Iowa, though, because this Iowa was full accelerating, and he broke his own line of sight a few seconds after I had shot. And even if he didn't, first of all, he's dead. And then he also was sailing behind the island anyway. This Wisconsin is pointing his guns at me, or at very least was. I'm honestly not sure why he didn't shoot at me there. He absolutely should have, but he didn't, so, you know, whatever. Right here, I'm just going to focus my fire. Well, not really focus my fire, but alternate my fire in between these two targets. And just keep both of them reset forever. I do end up getting radared by the Annapolis here, but it expires a few seconds later. I honestly think he just burned that radar a minute before. And then to either spot the Kunming or the Hayate, and then it just straight into me as it was going down, which happens. It's whatever. But now, at this point, this game is all over. The Annapolis is stuck bow into a Wisconsin, and there he goes. And we zeroed them out. And if this screen would hurry up and go away. There we go. This game was not really a very interesting one. We didn't even place that well. I mean, we placed on like the higher end of our team, but it was a fairly low experience game for the amount of damage that we did, because we did spend a fair bit of time shooting at the battleships, at the more battleships, the Petro, and we really didn't do a whole lot of damage to many of them. The most damage we did was to the Vermont, and that's because he ate torps. But this Iowa, actually, I'm going to take a screenshot of that. There we go. What I really want to demonstrate in this game is, first of all, like I've demonstrated so many times before, is caps are important, but they're also not worth killing yourself for. As soon as you see like a Petro, an Annapolis, a bunch of battleships pressing W at a cap, that's your cue to like just nope the fuck out of there, and then play to your other strengths to either try and prevent them from getting that cap, or to punish them for taking that cap, which we ultimately did. Both of those, they never got B that entire time, because it was just a Petro who just kept contesting and then just getting reset over and over and over again, and then the two battleships, and then, yeah, whatever. This game also shows the use of smoke. This is something that I see a lot of Royal Navy destroyer players get wrong, is you are a gunboat. Just keep those guns firing, work your smoke screens, abuse people's gun blooms, take advantage of allied spotting, and whatever you can to just put those guns to work. And then torpedoes can be used either opportunistically or make-a-wish torps at unspotted targets, or predictive torps to see if you can punish someone who tries to get overly aggro, or to, like I demonstrated in yesterday's video, sometimes you can also use them to try and cut off people's escape paths to pretty good effect at that. So that, I believe, is really about all there is to say about this particular replay, or at least all there is to say that's not going to take another half an hour to go over. So this fucking Iowa, though, I don't know how I managed to do that turret thing, but anyway, that is going to be enough for today. So I will see you on Thursday.